Yo, 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 Multiplier here, and production tutorials are back, because I decided now that kind of this is my job type thing, well not specifically this, but kind of, yeah, the whole music thing, being Multiplier, so I'm going to do more tutorials and I'm going to step up my production game. So I've bought ScreenFlow, which was £70, which was crazy expensive, but the software looks good, so hopefully if you see an improvement in the quality of these videos, it will be because of that and me taking it more seriously. So however, if you're like, oh, now he's not going to make mistakes, now he's going to do exactly what we asked for, now he's going to do it really quick, concise, really informative tips, you're wrong. It's still going to be standard Multiplier tips where I talk like this for the beginning about nothing related to the tip, but you know what, my videos, do what the fuck I want. So yeah, got me a beer as well, nice way to start the new season, I guess, new season of tutorials. Yeah, I'm going to start off with something that newbies won't be doing because they just didn't think about it, not their fault, but they've got so much to think about when you're new to this game, you don't know what's going on. And it's basically for dubstep bass, but it can be applied to electro bass or a lot of genres. It's kind of a general concept really, I guess, but basically the thing we're interested in is the what I call top air or top end air. Some people just call it air, although I think some people call air like lower frequency stuff than what I'm dealing with. That's just what I call it. We're talking this noise basically, which it was that high pitch thing there. If you heard that through YouTube, good. If not, that's YouTube fucking up, or you're not listening through right headphones, or you're not listening loud enough. But basically what it is it's a load of really top end, and in this case it's not super top end, but yeah, I'm talking very top end of things. Like if you hear it again, it's that top end. Oh yeah, by the way, if I forget to unsolo this and then you can't hear me, that's because I forgot the mic is going for one of these channels. But yeah, it's that top end kind of shine that you want over the bass sound, because basically what you have is you have your bass sound, which is where all the weight and the character is, but you have all these like high frequency space you're not using up, and the high frequency stuff you can fill it up within reason as much as you want, and it's not gonna lose, you're not gonna lose all your headroom, and providing you don't make it super loud, people aren't even gonna hear it. Like, to be honest, if I just play the bass sound like with a few bars before it, you definitely didn't hear that top end. However, if I was to take away the top air bit, see, it's not quite as good. I mean, if you're just listening to it quickly or you're not paying attention, you might not even notice, but believe me, that little bit of shine, that detail, makes a huge difference, whether you know it or not. And chances are, if you're not a producer, you're not going to know it. But if you do start actually listening out for it, listen to all your favourite dubstep tracks. Most of them will have this kind of top end, like noisy stuff. Like, you can call it noise basically, in the very top end, and it'll be pretty wide. In some cases it'll be really loud. In fact, like, it'll almost sound like the white noise stuff that the electro guys use. Sometimes that does the same effect as this, but you definitely want to consider putting in this top end shine, as I like to call it, on top of your bass, because it just fills it out, just makes it sound a lot better, and just makes it a little bit more interesting. Because almost always, sometimes you can make a bass preset that has this like top end shine in, but normally, even if there's a lot of mid-range and top end, it won't have that really full top end that you want. And yeah, it's just another thing you have to do. It's not the most exciting thing, but I guess it's a mixing tip, or somewhere in between mixing and producing. It's definitely somewhere in between the two. So just to kind of illustrate the difference, I'll show you again, once with the top air in and then with it out, and see if or out and in, and see if you notice an improvement. You see, you might have noticed it then because I played it so quickly, but hopefully you'll see too that it does sound better. And I know I ramble on, but yeah, that's the kind of the whole point. I try and explain the whole theory behind it. So yeah, and if you haven't noticed this before, I think it's probably because you just haven't been told it, or you haven't listened critically, which is another thing you want to do if you want to get better. Listen to tracks you like or love, and then just listen really critically to all the different frequency ranges, and then where are they panned, how loud are they, are there subtle things that you don't actually hear but kind of go in subconsciously. And this one is definitely one of the more subconscious things. So yeah. Oh yeah, I know what I do. I'll show you how to make it. There's loads of ways to make it, to be honest, but in this particular case what I've got is some sample which is called Evil Tape -02, which is okay, hopefully you can see it, but it's from some tape echo loops thing. But I think if I just show you without the high pass, you'll hear what it actually sounds like. Oops, error. Forgot the mic again. And then there's a bunch of reverb on it, which just in this particular case gives it a nice tail because of the structure of the main bit. But I'd say normally I don't bother with reverb. I'd probably put a subtle bit of sidechain compression on. That's just to give it the same pump. But yeah, like a lot of people tend to use just white noise or really generic noises, and I'm a huge fan of pick a weird noise. Like, you'll be surprised what noises sound good when you high pass them really heavily. Like, I'll show you again. Like in this case, it's definitely more of a gritty sound because of the original sample, which is what I wanted, because it's kind of a slightly gritty, evil dubsteppy thing. But if you want something slightly smoother, reverbs, heavily high pass sound really good. I'd definitely recommend them. In fact, I'll show one of them in a sec. But basically have just some kind of noise, some kind of sound effects, some kind of sustained sample, and then high pass it like mad. This isn't that mad, but you can high pass it so that it's pretty much only 10k and above, and then stick it in there, start it off quiet, keep turning up the volume of it until it becomes a little too loud, and then turn it back down. That's important. You don't want to be in the club and really hear this noise. You just want it to be there, the sort of thing that you don't realize is doing something until you take it away. That's really important. And it's also worth noting that when setting the level of this top end, you need to really be good at not listening out for it, because if you haven't thought about this before, it's an important point. If you listen out for frequencies, they sound louder. Sounds obvious, but it's not obvious. If you're, say, mixing, it's common for like hi-hats or whatever, you're mixing hi-hats in and you're listening out for them the whole time, you're not going to mix it at the right level, because someone who is just listening to the track in general is going to let the whole thing wash over them, and the hi-hats are going to be quieter than they would if you were listening out for them. It's really worth bearing that in mind when setting the level of this top end. Yeah. No, I'm not going to show you another example. That's basically the idea. Oh, I know I've rambled, but that's what I do. It's one of my skills. Haven't really made many mistakes, so that's pretty good. But yeah, the whole idea is you have your bass sound and you want to really consider that very, very top end, the 10k and above. This example is using a bit more than I would normally. Normally I would literally have kind of right up like that, but in this case, because this part of the song's pretty empty, I needed a bit more of the kind of 5, 6, 8k to 10k. But yeah, don't be afraid of sticking it right up like that. Consider that top end. Have some kind of sample. Try and make it original, please. Don't just have white noise. Reverb tails, you can use them. Still a little bit copycat, but I definitely think personally reverb tails, heavily high pass sound really, 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 really smooth and good. So yeah, cool. So yeah, I'll show you the bit of the song, because basically the whole point was to ram it in your brain that if you're new to making dubstep, make sure you have top end. I've said it like a million times now, but you know what, there's too many perfect videos that are perfect times, so I can get away with saying it. Make sure you consider the super, super top end. It's so important, and the best part is it doesn't take up headroom, so you'd be stupid not to use it, wouldn't you? And yeah, if I've forgotten to say it already, try and mix it wide, although that doesn't matter, the mastering guy can fix it. Although if you're doing that yourself, you'll have to know to fix it. But ideally have it wide, but it's not even the end of the world if it's a little bit narrow with the top end, because it's not like an actual feature of the song. It's more of a mixing thing more than anything. So yeah, I'll just show you the bit of the song because I can. Pretty cool. It's nowhere near finished, but if you like what you hear the sound of so far, check me out on Facebook. My name is Multiplier, and yeah, I'd say the song isn't that far off if you look how much stuff there is. Quite a lot of stuff. But yeah, it definitely has some more mixing stuff to do. Especially around all the complicated bits, and it needs a few more elements, but I'd say most of the elements are in it. It's just mixing things that need doing, because I haven't really taken it seriously yet. So yeah, subscribe to this YouTube channel and I'll give you more tips. I'm going to record quite a few now, I think. So you might have even seen the others, but I'm going to try and kick them out quite regularly. Yeah, just see all the links below me, follow them all, follow my label, follow everything. Sweet. I've been Multiplier. I hope you like it. If not, don't care, fuck off.